It's my privilege for us to have Jean Brown here today, who has done some really unique things that we'll maybe hear a little bit about some of her unique methodology to test effectiveness of some analgesics, some drugs that help reduce pain, and is the founder of the Jean Brown Research. She was the 2003 Entrepreneur of the Year in Service, and was given the award in 2009 the Best of Salt Lake Valley in Commercial Physical Research category by the U.S. Commerce Association. She has many other qualifications, but one that I found particularly interesting is that she and her husband Steve have 13 children, 11 which are adopted, and I related to that in particular because I'm from a family of 13 children. So what we've done is I've asked her husband Steve if he will give some additional introduction of his wife Jean, and then we're grateful to have with us today Jean Brown. Please join me in welcoming them here to BYU Hawaii.
I guess you say aloha. I grew up on a farm in the south end of Salt Lake Valley, so I'm more of a, hey, how you doing kind of person. But it's great to be here with all of you. It's a great opportunity for us. Just by way of introducing Jean and who we are, would tell you that the biggest decision you'll ever make in your life isn't really going to be what you decide to do for a living. It's just going to be your commitment to who you are and what you believe. And along those lines, I think who you marry makes all the difference in the world. And I've certainly been grateful for Jean in my life. I think I probably represent the other side of the brain other than the entrepreneur side in our family. Jean has all the ideas, and I'm more of a operations, make it work kind of person. But Jean's great. We've raised 13 children, and by we, I mean mostly Jean, besides doing everything else that she does. And one of the things I admire about her a lot is she's a great teacher. And it's been invaluable with our children, but she's enthused about sharing what she's learned and what she's accomplished, and you'll enjoy listening to her today, I know. But it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Aloha 3 times. And thank you, Stephen, for that. You can't do anything without the support of your spouse, and he's been unbelievable. You know, I was in a cab in San Francisco, and I was talking to the cab driver, and he was saying, well, what do you do? And I said, I test drugs. And he turned around with this sinister look on his face, and I thought, oh my heck, he's going to dump me up an alley and take my bags because he thinks they're full of drugs. And then he had this big smile that breaks over his face, and he says, really? I do too. So how about you? Is there anyone here? I test drugs, but I test legitimate drugs, legal drugs. Is there anyone here that has never taken anything for pain or for a medication of any kind? Anybody here never taken anything? Well, I want to thank you all. You've been putting me into business, so I appreciate that. And since you are all users and have used medication, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the process of what it happens to develop a drug, and I'll tell you about how, along the way, about how I've grown my business. There's 3 phases. The first phase is that they develop a compound and they test it in animals, and then they test it in humans for safety. We call that first in man with lab tests, etc. I do that testing first in man. Then we test to see if it really works. Does it take away the headache? Does it cure the nausea? I do that testing. I test it with patients, and then we test it with more patients. And different than what the media will tell you, this is done under very strict guidelines by the FDA. And one of the things that we are expert in is we test pain. So who here thinks they're really macho and can take pain? Raise a hand, somebody. Anybody macho here thinks you can take pain? You're pointing, who? No one will admit?
Yeah, let's raise your hand over there.
Okay, in the back. Okay, then who's here willing to admit that they're a wimp and they're scared of pain? Anybody? Okay, I got a couple of hands. So how do I take one drug and test it on these two people, one who can't take pain and one who thinks they really can take pain, and get the study results? And that's what we do. We've developed a methodology that's very sensitive, so we can take one drug and see if it really works. So first of all, I have to create pain. Anyone ever here had their wisdom teeth out? Ooh, more hands. Did it hurt? Yeah. Okay, see what you think. Were you like this guy?
Okay, we're gonna go home. I'm gonna get you some blanket.
I don't want to go to the store.
Was that you when you were getting your wisdom teeth out? And we actually do it in much better conditions, but and so this is the perfect pain model because it's consistent and it's using healthy people. So I have the perfect pain model. I need to have your wisdom teeth out. And now I have the perfect patient. Voila. Missionaries need their wisdom teeth out before they go on missions. And I need to take their wisdom teeth out. And this is, and drug companies wonder why I have 3,000 patients waiting, and I do it for free. So I take the wisdom teeth out and I do the surgery for free. So the drug companies wonder why I have 3,000 patients waiting, missionaries waiting to have their wisdom teeth out. And it's probably 5,000 now because of the change in the age. And so if you can think of in your business as you're thinking of something, what service can you give that people will want and need and hopefully line up for? That makes a difference. And the next is, do we hire experts? This is one of our board-certified oral surgeons. He's doing the surgery in one of our surgery suites in our building. Hire people that are better and smarter than you. And they will bring such knowledge to the table. And then we bring them down to a private room. We built our building, it's kind of like a little hospital. We have private rooms where we bring the patients to. This helps us because then we get better results, because someone that got the placebo or someone that it's hurting doesn't hear the one next door and is influenced by them. It gives us a better competitive edge, and the rent is paid to me. So that's a good thing when you're building your business to think about. We have become experts in what we do. We've built this methodology. We're experts in it. This is how it's run. It's done with a double blind. You don't know what medication you're taking. The nurse doesn't know what medication they're giving you. We can find out, but then we don't influence you. And there's always a placebo, which is sugar, which will gives us a best test to see if it's really working. So become an expert in what you do. And because we have become an expert in this, drug companies come to us for business. And that is from the biggest drug company in the world, Pfizer's, the Merck's, the McNeil's, the Bayer's, Novartis, down to the very smallest company. And that's unusual for a small company in Utah. we have a worldwide reputation for what we've done by getting this expertise. And then in the last 2 years, we've really expanded. We've taken our profit and we've built it back into the company to expand our niche so that we're not vulnerable in just one area. It's kind of like Joe Montgomery with Cannondale Bikes. He started making bike bags and then eventually bike products, and then eventually built a fabulous bike that's world-renowned. So expanding your niche once you get there. And it's great to make money. I mean, that's what building a business is about. But can you also do something, think of something that will make a difference for people? That's really helpful when in those times when you're not making so much money or when you're giving your blood, sweat, and tears to it. Is it really making a difference? This is a study, hepatitis. Hepatitis is a disease of the liver. It's life-threatening. And it leads to cirrhosis of the liver and liver cancer. It's the largest reason for liver transplants. We're doing this study with our patients. We are curing hepatitis. That makes a difference. We're curing hepatitis for our patients. And as an interesting side note is I've adopted 4 children from Romania, and they all test positive for hepatitis. So for me, it's really making a difference. So can what you do, think about what you do, can it also make a difference? How can it make a difference in people's lives? So do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why? Why? Name out. Somebody raise their hand. Tell me why you want to be an entrepreneur. What's the advantage of being an entrepreneur? Do you want to do it? Anyone here?
Independence.
Okay, independence. Anybody?
Be your own boss.
Be your own boss?
Protect the world.
Creative.
Say again?
Creative.
Being very creative. In the back?
To change the world.
Okay. Can you change the world? You can change the world. Anyone else?
Money.
Money, of course. Do you still want to be an entrepreneur, though, after you hear the statistics of, it used to be that a business would fail after 5 years in business. Half of the businesses would fail after 5 years. Then they moved it up to 2 years. Now they say that most businesses will fail within 5 years that start. And so being an entrepreneur is exciting and great. Failing is lousy. And that's not what we're about. So how do you do it with a greater chance of success? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I think there's 3 ways that I think really can contribute in a better chance of success. And you may have already taken the first step. Anybody here have a part-time job? Okay, shout out your part-time jobs.
Translator.
Translator. Say again?
TA. Teaching assistant.
Teaching assistant.
Tour guide.
Say again?
Tour guide.
Tour guide. Please. Say, you have to say it louder.
Food service work.
Cool. But yours? Tutoring.
Spanish tutor.
Did you say something?
Spanish tutor.
Spanish tutor? Anything else besides, we've had tutoring?
Canoe pusher.
Say again?
Canoe pusher.
A canoe pusher? Okay. So you might think, is it a really great job for you, like you want to do it all your life? Or is it like show up and get a paycheck? Anybody just absolutely love what they're doing and they hope they do it for life?
Temporary, yes.
Yes, temporary, yes. Okay, what I want to suggest is that you can learn from your job that you have now. Let a man practice the profession which he best knows and take a job in your chosen industry. Get paid to learn about your business. For whatever you are thinking and wanting to do, if you can find a job in that profession, take it and learn on somebody else's dime. And then take it a step further. Don't just learn. Learn everything. Solve the problems for the company. Volunteer for hard assignments. Look for opportunities. If it's your business, and you're thinking in your business, how can you do it faster, better, cheaper? What is the thing? Is there a niche that you can fill? Sean Nguyen, he was from Vietnam. He was one of the boat people. He came over and he took a part-time job in Multitronics, testing modems. They got so busy that they had to outsource, and he said, hey, me and my family, we'll do that. They started taking all the modems home, and before you know it, he had built Nguyen Electronics and built it up to $10 million from a job that he wasn't even intending to take for life. But he found what he could do with it. And then make as many friends as you can, especially your clients. This is what worked for me. My husband was going to dental school in Georgetown University. I took a part-time typing job in the pharmacology department. I worked after hours while I was finishing a nursing degree. Was it my dream job? No. Did I want to do it forever? No. But I learned a ton doing it, and doing it as best I could. And so then I was approached by a PhD who was doing research, and he said, will you come over to the dental school, and I want to try out some new research. And I said, okay. It just happened to be doing research with wisdom teeth, the removal of wisdom teeth, which became the gold standard model in the world for testing pain. And we developed methodology that I use today. I have my business, a multi-million-dollar business, from a typing job in a pharmacology department. Then next I went on to work for a contract research organization, and again learned on somebody else's dime so I could save money for when I wanted to start my own business. And learned a lot more, and so I volunteered for them to set up a branch office for them in Utah. So they agreed, and they paid for me to set up a branch office there. And all day, I met clients from the pharmaceutical company all day long. I made friends with them. I had to go in a car for long hours while we looked at other sites and checked things out. And so we made friends, we talked, we knew about their home, their kids, what they liked, etc. And they finally said to me, you know, we hate the company you work for, and we like you. Why don't you start your own business? Right time, right place, and then you leap. You've been learning, preparing, right time. You're preparing here at this university, then at the right time, right place, you leap. There may be only a small window of opportunity, but you need to leap. Is it risky? Yes. Does it scare you? Yes. But you've been preparing, so you're knowledgeable and you know how to do this. Then leap. 50% of students, who's are business majors here or taking business classes? Okay, cool. So I can talk to you all day long because you're planning on maybe starting your own business. I also want to talk to those that aren't, because those first steps that I've talked about are really relevant to you as well. So, but look at what it is for females. Isn't this interesting? 40% of businesses in America are owned by women. 32% of new ventures are started by women. 64% of women age 18 to 35 want to become business owners. Why is this? That's high numbers, isn't it? Why? Why women in business? Why? What's an advantage for women in business? What do you think?
You're smart.
Okay, smart. Yay, you get my vote.
The husbands that take care of the kids.
They leave the husband at home? Okay. Someone has to take care of the kids for sure.
Women are easy to get along with.
Okay, they make good bosses. That's what I keep telling my employees. What else? What's another reason? Why women in business? 32% of all new ventures are done by women. What else? Please.
I think it's also to inspire their kids that they can do it as well.
That's a great one. She wants to inspire. She said she wants to inspire her kids that they can do it. I hope my children see that I did hard things and think that they can do hard things. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Have more time to spend with their kids.
Okay. They have more time to spend with their kids. So you have flexible time, flexible hours that you can work around your family. As mentioned before, we have 13 children, and we've adopted 11 of those children. Now, we look like a fairly reasonable bunch there. It's not too, that's because it's not too clear and focused. But I couldn't have done this without the flexibility of being able to be there when I needed to work part-time when I needed to work part-time. I can work different hours. I can work from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. if I need to. When everybody's asleep, I can work at home when I need to. You have to have a supportive spouse. You mentioned it. And I had an absolute supportive spouse. And it's hard. It's still hard. I mean, was I there for every single thing? No. Was I at the crossroads at all times? Probably not. Was I there more than I ever could have been in any other kind of work? Absolutely. And I was able to bring in an income to support a large family. 2 of my children were adopted because of a physician I met doing a study. 9 of my children have worked in the business with me. And in 1991, I'd been in business 5 years, and we went from 5 children to 10 children in 1 year. Now that means that I had 8 children that were 4 and under. Anybody have kids here? Okay. I had 5 in diapers, 5 in car seats. That's any time you wanted to go anywhere, you put 5 children in car seats. I absolutely could not have done this without having my own business and having the flexibility of being there when I needed to be there. You know, there's times when I was at home and I had a big call coming in from a client. And so I would sneak quietly away and go into my bedroom, lock the door so they couldn't barge in, and try to get on the phone. And invariably, they knew. It's like a sensing device. They knew when I was going in my bedroom for a purpose. Because pretty soon, about 5 of them were knocking on the door, screaming for me to come back out. Where was I? Come on out. So I learned that I not only went into the bedroom, but then I went and locked the door, but then I went into the closet and shut that door, and I could still hear them pounding outside there. So I would go in underneath the clothes, duck down, you know, around by the dirty socks, and hover over the phone so that I would kind of keep the sound noise out. And there I'd talk to my client about $1 million deal. Hovered among the dirty socks. Did my client ever know? No. Did I ever tell him? No way. But that gave me the ability to build my business and take care of my #1 priority, which was my family. So think about it. Okay. So I want to go over again and reiterate what I've talked about earlier. It's great to do a business on the side, and maybe that's a side business that's going to add to your income and the job that you're already doing. So you can do it that way. But you can also create a business that will give you an income to live on. but you want to be successful at it. You don't want to be those businesses that fail. And so, like, I have a couple of sons, and they're in college, and they want to be entrepreneurs. And they come every week and say, gosh, what about this idea? Here's another great idea. What do you think about this? And I say to them, fabulous ideas. I love the idea. Now go get some experience in that idea. Go get a job in that industry. Go talk to mentors in that industry. Find out everything you can and save money. It's really easy to spend my money or somebody else's money on your new idea. Feels very different when it's your money. You'll work harder to figure it out first. So again, number one, go out there and find out about your industry that you have an interest in. Meet people. Work in that industry, get paid to do it, get experience. Maybe the current job you're in, you're delivering pizza, and maybe that's a dead-end job, but maybe you can figure out a way to do it cheaper, better, faster to deliver pizza, and maybe that will be your niche. So get a job, get experience, and not just get it, but work it like it's your own job, like your own business. Thinking all the time, how can I do this better? What niche can I do that they aren't filling? Maybe I can go to my boss and break something off and do it on my own. But get experience and take it to your own and learn as much as you can. And then make friends in the industry. Make friends, build those relationships. If you're not good at it, practice it. You've got the aloha spirit here, so everybody's good at it here probably. But if that's not your strong point, then talk to somebody in the grocery line, wherever you're at. Build that experience, get that experience of talking to people, building those relationships, selling what you do and who you are. So nothing will work unless you do. Those are the three things that I think will be, you look at it, the biggest companies, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, John Huntsman, they all worked in their industry and got experience and paid to do it before they went on to build their business. From the biggest companies down to the smallest, get experience in your industry. So work like crazy. Nothing will work unless you do. And then the courage is being scared to death but saddling up anyway. At the right time, right place, you've got to leave. Will you fall off the horse? Yes. Did I hire someone to manage my company and it was the wrong person? Yes, I did it twice. Crazy, I couldn't learn the first time. Did a study cancel? A huge study that we were counting on? Yes. That runs you out of money. You've got a low quarter. A million things will happen. You'll fall off the horse, but you can just get back up and you can make it work. You absolutely can do it. Any questions? Okay, this is my present office. Kind of looks like you'd think the big CEO, multi-million-dollar company, down there among the boxes. We need more space. We've outgrown our space. This is a basement of an old house that I want to tear down and build a new building for us so that we can expand and do more work and more studies. I'm telling you, the naysayers are lining up to tell me why it won't work. We can't do this. It's too hard. How are we going to finance this? But I know I can do it. I know I can do it. And you can do this. You can do it. right time, right place. Prepare yourself, and then for the right time, right place, leap. The most important thing is just get up and off the chair and start. So, okay, I've ended a little early, so I need to have questions now, please.
So you say right time, right place, but at what point do you kind of say this is like the right time or right place? So this is the opportunity window, because I don't know, I'm the kind of guy that looks at the future, and who knows what the future is, and who knows exactly what's going to happen in the future, and you might have left and then you realize you left a little early or you left a little late. So at what point, like, right time, right place, how do I put that into practice?
Okay, good question. And let me see if I can summarize it accurately for you. He says, how do you know this is the right time, right place, and to leap? You might leap a little early, you might leap a little late, you get out there and you go, oops, this wasn't the right time, right? So how do you know? You can't overthink it. If you think in your mind and you know, you've done your homework, you've learned the industry, you know your niche, then you're gonna have to leap. And it's never gonna feel perfect. It's always gonna be scary. So if you know, if you sense, and what's the worst thing can happen? You could leap and say, okay, oops, this was too early, we'll pull back a little bit, we'll try it again. But I'd say leap. If you know in your mind you think you're at the right place, leap. Thanks for the question. Who else? Please.
When you were in your business, how much of it was actually face-to-face with your clients, and then how much of it was like over the phone with other bigger clients?
His question is, when I started my business or continue to run it, how much is face-to-face and with my clients, and how much is over the phone? For my particular business, I'm in Utah, and my clients are on the East Coast mainly, the pharmaceutical companies. And so a lot of it is on the phone, but I need to be in front of my clients quarterly at least. So I will travel to them and see them at their desk in their place of business, because the best sale is on person to person. I think the most effective and the easiest. You can do a lot of work on the phone, but the best is getting them to go in front of them and then bringing them out to my organization, having them come visit my office, then I can sell them, show them the kind of studies we've done. We've probably got 66 publications, over 2,000 studies, 40,000 patients waiting to go on study. That's convincing if they can see that. Good question. Yes?
How did you do in your accounting?
In the accounting? And so say a little more about your question.
Like, of course you are finding customers and incomes. How organized your times, accountings?
And so are you asking how did I finance?
Yeah.
Okay. I grew organically. I took on my first study, and my first check was like $70,000. My husband was supporting the family, so I didn't need to take an income. So I didn't worry about an income for a couple of years, and I paid employees out of that. And so I brought in that first business, and that funded the rest of my business. And so I have always grown organically. There's times when we've taken out line of credits because we can see that there's a lot of business coming up, and so we need to gear up for that. I found that to be very dangerous. It's just like my example with my sons. It's easy to spend my money, not so easy to spend his money. And I find that a line of credit can sometimes be dangerous because you spend it more readily. So I like to grow organically. I like to build the business and let it pay for it, for the expansion. Yes?
I see lately there has been advertisements in the news for missionaries. People are going on missions to get their wisdom team pool. Is that your company that's advertising in that?
I apologize, I just couldn't hear you very well.
Sorry, there's been a lot of advertisements lately in the Deseret News for looking for missionaries to have their wisdom teeth.
Yes.
Is that your?
Yeah, that is us.
And so do they know when they're getting their teeth they'll pull that maybe it will be a placebo?
Yes, they do know that there's a possibility of a placebo, and how the placebo works is we just don't let you sit there and agonize in pain. It's after like an hour or hour and a half. If something's not working for you, then we'll give you a dose of the drug. But yes, we work very hard to brand for us, and so we do a lot of advertising, radio, some TV, paper, but we also involve ourselves in the community so people know who we are. So then they have confidence. We involve ourselves in community events. Every weekend we're involved in a community event so that people know us and have confidence in us as to who we are. That we're a real company and we'll take good care of them. Good question. Yes?
Did you ever reach a point where you felt like just stopping the business, maybe you're going down too low?
And why would I have stopped the business? Say it again.
Maybe you're losing too much money or something like that.
You know, you come to hard points, like I say, where you fall off the horse. And you say, and there's always moments in every entrepreneur that said, why did I do this and what am I doing? And, there was never a choice to stop. I knew that I could make it up financially. If this was a low quarter, I knew the next 2 quarters would be better. And so financially, I could always make it up and get it going again. And I always had commitments, long-term commitments and studies. Some of our studies will last 2 or 3 years, so I really couldn't stop because I didn't have a choice. But I don't know, stopping just isn't part of my vocabulary. I just knew we could always make it work. We'd find a solution. So yeah, no, never. Please.
You ever gotten too over your head?
All the time. Yeah, but you just keep doing it. You can do it. You can figure it out. You can find a way. You just keep working it till you do it. Please. Yes.
I just wanted to ask, what does your day-to-day life look like? Family, business, travel, all that. Day-to-day.
You know, I work about 3 days a week and probably work about 20 hours, less than 20 hours a week. So I've hired managers that can run the day-to-day operations of my business. So I am there mainly as a support at this point to just make sure everybody's doing good and have any questions, etc. So I work when my children are at school, and so that I can drop them off at school, pick them up after school, and so that's how it works for me at this stage. When my children were younger, I had nannies that came into my home, and that was the best way for me to deal with a lot of children, is they came in and helped me when I needed to go to work. Travel, same thing, and a supportive husband and family that would help out. Yes.
How do you take care of your health?
Say it one more time.
How you maintain your health?
My health?
Yeah.
You know, I've been really lucky to be healthy, but I really believe in good and lots of exercise and a really good diet. So it hasn't been an issue. Entrepreneurs always have their brain going, and so sometimes that happens at night. So you don't get as much sleep as the normal person because you're always thinking of something that you need to do. But yes, lots of exercise. Yes.
Sister Brown, in a conversation I was having with a student a couple of days ago about starting a business, he made the comment that he thought all the good ideas had been had. And he said that maybe there's not the opportunity today to start a business as maybe there was 40 years ago when I started a business. Would you respond to that? You'll respond to that better than I do. All right.
You know, I always think of, this may not be the response you're looking for, but I always think of luggage. Now, didn't we all just have luggage and it looked the same? And we always carried our luggage? And then somebody got wheels on the bottom of a luggage. What a smart guy or gal that got luggage. And now everybody threw out their old luggage and brought in the new luggage. And it's amazing. And then it was just drag the luggage on the wheels, and now it's the twirler wheels. And so now you got to get rid of that luggage and get the twirl. There's always a better one. There's always a better mousetrap. We can always do it better. It happens all the time. You just got to do it. Yes.
As an entrepreneur, have you ever branched out and tried starting another business?
Yes.
And did it succeed or fail, or did you sell it? Or?
You know, I have branched out and I've started 2 or 3 other businesses, different. And I'm so glad you asked this because I wanted to bring this up earlier. And I read the same thing for other entrepreneurs. They think, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I can do it in this business, I can do it in the next business. But unless you've done your homework, like I'm telling you, learned on the job, learned everything about it, those entrepreneurs have failed at those other businesses. And I can think of 2 or 3 that I failed at. I can think of a couple I won at, but it's because I did my homework. It's not just an idea. It's not just a great idea. It's studying it out until you can figure out how to make it work. So you've got the same zeal, that entrepreneur spirit, but you've got to do the background so that you can make it work. Yes?
When you're doing your business or when you're getting the concept, how much of it was financially motivated and how much was purpose-driven? You know, because you're going to reach those crossroads, and then I'm assuming that you have to draw on the purpose side of it instead of the money side of it in order to push you farther. So,
you know, for me, it was probably about 50-50. Yeah, that I couldn't have. When I said make. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. He's asking what drove me to do my own business. Was it money, or was it the purpose? And when I started my business, I didn't have any idea where it was going to go. I didn't have any idea that it would do what we've done. But I was interested in the money. Of course, I'd take that. But it was that stimulation and the challenge of it that really drove me as much as the money. And for me, that's a big piece of it. Being able to solve the problem, make it work. There's nothing like it. It's pretty cool. And then, but I couldn't have done it like, I couldn't have done a job that I didn't think was kind of saving the world. I mean, we've tested every pain reliever that you've probably taken in the last 20 years. We've done that testing. And when you're in pain and you need a pain reliever, you're glad that I did that. When I can see on the ads on the TV and they come up and this drug was done and I said, I did that. That's satisfying to me. That makes a difference. I think I've made a difference in the world. We think that in our business, that we're making a difference in people's lives, and that really drives you. Yes?
What are some of the effects that you foresee with healthcare reform in the pharmaceutical world?
He's asking what kind of effect is going to be the pharmaceutical reforms that Obamacare is going to bring about. And you know, we have not seen the real impact, but it's sort of, but he's also pouring a lot of money into research. So the drug companies, they're trying to take their profit from them because they say they're making too much money, but they're funding research. And if we don't continue to fund research, we won't have the new drugs. We won't have a cure for hepatitis. So it's a balance act. I haven't really seen the full impact of what that's going to be for us. But I am pleased that a lot of money has been set aside for research through the NIH, etc. And so I think we're going to be able to tap in that. Also, women-owned business, I could have gone on forever about advantages for you in government, in Small Business Association, and it's called We Bank, Women Business Owner Enterprises, that help you get government contracts. We're just tapping into that ourselves right now, so that will also be helpful in that. I had another hand over here I didn't see.
Well, I just wanted to know about liability and insurance, and I mean, there's got to be studies that went bad, and lawsuits and things like that. How do you deal with that?
She's asking about liability for what I do because I'm giving new drugs to patients and insurance, and it is unnerving. I always say we've always got some lawsuit going, and I hate lawsuits. But what I am covered by the pharmaceutical company for liability if we do everything correct. And so my piece of it is just making sure that my staff and everyone is doing things correctly. And then we have liability insurance that covers us. And we have not, the lawsuits that we've engaged have been frivolous. And so we have not had any difficulty in that. But it's a good thing to ask. Yes?
Have you ever refused a drug trial based on the preliminary research?
Good question. Have we ever refused to do a drug trial because of the preliminary research and we didn't think it's safe? Yes, we do it all the time. We don't like the drug you're testing. We don't like the dose you're testing. We don't feel good about this. And you have to know that there's an institutional review board. That comes from when they used to do all these drug studies in prison and just go in and do whatever they wanted with the prisoners and make them take whatever they asked. Now there's an institutional review board, so every study that's ever done has to go through a review board that's made up of physicians and lay people that read the protocol and say, okay, I think this is safe. I can't do any study until that review board says, I think this is safe. So that is another layer that helps me, but yes, we do. Please.
How did you measure your success in yourself?
How do I measure my success for myself? It's a good question. I have to think of that. Financial success is the measure for me. Being able to successfully do studies and have clients come to me that are really big clients and ask for our help. They could go anywhere. We're probably top 3 companies in the world that do what we do, the niche we have in acute pain. That feels real satisfactory. The FDA asked me to be on their analgesic guidelines committee. That's real satisfaction. So when I guess when people recognize the work we do and value it, and then of course the financial rewards are a benefit. But probably the financial, and I have a wonderful team. I just didn't think I'd have this much time. I have fabulous people I work with, yes.
How does the gospel has blessed your life or helped you in your business life?
How does the gospel bless me in my business life? First of all, honesty and the ethics. You could make up a patient and make up results. It's been done. And we'd never consider it. Everything has to be done exactly right. And how I treat my patients, how I treat my employees, how I treat my clients. I think I treat them much better because I have the gospel. And my family, I'm always balancing. I'm always asking. Someone that didn't have the gospel would say, hey, I'm making money, I'm gone for 40 hours a week. And I can't do that. I'm always saying, is this balance right? Am I spending enough time at home and enough time with my family? Thank you for the question. Yes?
People typically don't value something that's free. It's just like a weird thing, I think, that happens. So how does this work when you have missionaries coming in? Do you have to put down a deposit or something so they actually show up when they're supposed to? I mean, how do you make this free service stick?
He's asking how if people don't value what is free, and how do I get these patients to come in when I'm giving them free surgery, and especially the missionaries, they're lined up to have this. And it's awesome because then I can pick the very best patient that have the very best health. I provide free surgery for them. They also get a small grant that they can go out and buy their new suit to go on their mission. And so that combined, they make very good patients and they're very cooperative. They're fabulous. Yeah. We have 40,000 patients that are waiting to go on studies with us in all different areas. And they want that service. When we do a lot of vaccine work, and we do vaccines for the elderly, and they're calling us all the time saying, do you have another study coming up? Because that's the best care we ever got, is when we were on your study. Someone was watching us every minute and checking on us and caring about what was happening. That's what you give, and then they're lined up. Yes, please.
What was the hardest problem when you solved and like maybe people always have a give up time. And what was that, and then how did you like pass that?
Good questions. His question is, what's the hardest thing I ever did in my business, right? And you only have so much time, and so how do you make that choice of a balance? And probably the hardest thing I did was to fire the president that I'd hired to run my company, because he was a personal friend as well, but he wasn't doing it correctly. So that was probably hard. Second hardest would be when you're planning on a $3 million study and they call and they say, we're canceling that because our drug isn't coming out right. And what do I do? Those are hard moments. And balancing time, and this is a really good question, because I remember we were going to go into cancer research, and I needed to do a big presentation to the hospital board and about cancer and what we were going to do for the hospital, etc. And it came right during my family vacation. And so I went home and said, dang, we're going to have to cancel this family vacation. I see your hand, I'm coming right to you. We've got to cancel this, and I did. And I went to the board, and I made this presentation, and 2 weeks later they said, oh, you know what, we've decided not to do that. And I thought, why did I do that? Why did I cancel my family vacation for this moment? And then, so I made that decision right then that I wasn't going to do that anymore. If it fell in my family vacation, I'd say, you either have to change the date or somebody else has to do it. I'm not going to do it because my family comes first. Yes?
It's kind of a unique business. What is your exit strategy for a business like this?
Probably selling the business would be my exit strategy. If I have children that are interested, but I don't know that they would be able to, if they have enough interest to run the business. And so it would be selling the business.
And do you set a timeline whenever you started it? You wanted to sell it at a specific date, or are you just running it as well as you can until...
Yeah, I find that selling the business is harder than starting the business sometimes. It's getting at the right place, right time with the right person. So I think I have never been able to set a date. It's an evolving process.
We can take maybe one or two more questions.
Please.
You taught us a lot of great things today already, but if you should pick just one last advice for us, what that would be?
I can never say just one thing. One thing, my first thing is you can do it. You can do it. And it is worth it. That's what I would say to you. And all of you who aren't business majors that are thinking this doesn't apply to me, get your eyes and ears open. You can do it too. Learn, look for opportunities, and you can do it. So that would be my one thing is don't be so scared or afraid of the economy or think that you don't have enough. You can do it, and it's worth it. It's a ton of work, but you can do it. But make the preparation that you need so you do it right, so you won't fail. Two quick questions, please.
Did you use your husband's dental skills in your business to do some of those root canals and things?
He ran a dental, we did an orthodontic pain trial, so he's done a couple of ones that way. Yes, we used his patients. Yes.
If you could go back to college and take one class to help you become a better entrepreneur, what would that class be?
Oh, so easy. Accounting. Absolutely, accounting. I would have been a much better business owner if I had taken a lot of accounting classes. Absolutely. You want to not just look at a business plan or prepare a business plan. You want to know as soon as you look at that what the numbers mean. Accounting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jean.